this. I can actually say this now because we've agreed with Westwood One to carry the entire NCAA tournament. If the Hokies make it, we'll have, of course, Tech basketball. If they're in the NIT, we'll have those games as well. But we will have the entire NCAA tournament for you. So good luck. Lucky for Ed, he'll get a couple shows off but we won't because we stay grinding here on the morning warm up. But we'll have Tech basketball as well for you as they lead up their run to the NCAA tournament. We'll have a lot of conference championship games. I'm going to say this without confirming it with Ed, but I am about 95% sure we will have the entire ACC tournament for you here on VTR and Sports, powered by ESPN Radio. So pretty exciting for us here. But we have a lot to happen this weekend, so let's get to in case you missed it. Everything you missed over the weekend, starting with the Liberty Flames. They get back on track. They grind their way to an 81-78 win. Caden Matheny has 24 points in an effort where the Flames officially clinch. We mentioned it. They only needed to win one more game. They clinch the Conference USA title outright. Ty, they lost 2 in a row. They were down at the half year by 7. And you thought, okay, maybe this is just a lull of conference play, but a big second half. They bounce back. They get the win. They officially clinch the Conference USA regular season title. We can talk about this game in particular. I think the resilience they showed in this game is really good for them coming down the stretch, considering they did lose 2 straight coming into the game. I think if they lost 3 in a row, I'd start to be concerned about this team. But nope, they handled their business in the second half. And again, your core, Porter, Matheny, Cleveland, 24, 12, and 12. Well, that's 48 of your 81 points. I can do quick math. That's more than half. And, Brett Decker had 16. This is they shot 56% for the field. They made 11 threes. And they just, they're a really good team that played really good basketball.
Yeah, definitely, especially after losing 2 straight games back to back as well. So, that's a couple weeks ago.
They lost back-to-back games
last week.
They lost Wednesday and Saturday.
Okay, so yeah.
So you're good.
Losing 2 back-to-back games, and they still managed to find a way and bounce back. So I definitely had no doubt. I figured it was going to turn around. And I feel like that was a good test, how they're gonna respond back, especially when you're facing reps like that. This is back-to-back game. How would you handle that pressure?
Yeah, and again, you can't. It's not like Jacksonville State. The teams they played had more to play for in terms of seeding. Liberty basically was locked into the 1 seed. It's hard to beat that desperation, and it's hard to win on the road. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, of course, the Western Kentucky game was at home, but these last 2 where you lose one at Kennesaw and you grind one out and get the win against Jacksonville State, those were on the road. And it's in any conference, it's hard to win on the road. But they got it done there. All right, we're gonna get to the other scores now. We'll dive in these throughout the week. Let's start with the first game of the day. You heard on VTR and Sports: Duke 77, Virginia 51. And I think Mike Barber did a really good job on Friday characterizing what we thought about this game. And Duke basically locked everything up in terms of the number 1 seed in the ACC, the conference title. Theoretically, they could lose it at this point because they have 2 games left. They could share it with Virginia. But I'm going to go on a limb. Even though they're ending their ACC play with their hardest stretch, Virginia at North Carolina State, home against North Carolina, they dominated the Cavaliers. It was really just not close. They kept them within, it was 10-8, and then they pull away in the second half, win 77-51. Again, I'm not going to, this is an indictment on Duke. On Virginia, because they're playing the best, in my opinion, the best team in the country. Mm-hmm. It just proves that Virginia is probably not a tier where we think they were the way they were playing before this Duke game. They are probably, like Mike Barber said on Friday on the show, which if you missed it, he mentioned, I would say go back to our podcast, but a lot of it is outdated since we just mainly talked about this game. But he talked about if Virginia lost this game, they'd be back in the pack in the ACC, and that's basically where they're at. I mean, Isaiah Evans had 19, Cameron Boozer had 18. They shot 49% from the field, 50% from three, and Duke is the best defensive team in the country and forced Virginia to shoot 29% from the field, 20% from three. It just Duke put the clamps on Virginia, and again, my concern for Virginia, again, they're maxing out what you want from a year one ride and own team. I think this Virginia team can be a Sweet 16 team. A better way to describe it is a second weekend in the ACC or second weekend team in the NCAA tournament, meaning Sweet 16, Elite 8. I think that is the ceiling for Virginia. I don't see them getting to a Final Four. But again, if you get to the second week in the NCAA tournament, you're 2 wins away from the Final Four. But they're not in the ballpark of your Dukes, of your Arizonas, of your Floridas, of your Michigans. Like that, if I had to pick a Final Four, not without looking at the bracket, those are the 4 teams I'm going to pick. They're just not that good this year, which is okay for a year one team under Ryan Odom. Ty.
Yeah. I mean, I think like I said before, I think it was like a big test for them, like see how they'll play against tough and better competition when you play against one of the best teams in the ACC or like one of the best teams in the nation, and it shows you that okay, I don't have, but like I said, they can still make a good run. Like you said, Sweet 16, Elite 8. It just depends who they run to in the tournament. That's one thing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think a lot of Virginia fans know, like, hey, you could easily lose in the first round. I mean, they have the most infamous first round loss in the history of the NCAA tournament. Okay, ironically, with the head coach of that team is now your head coach.
Yeah.
But again, Duke is really good. Duke is really again, I'm not going to judge your game with most teams. I'm not going to judge how you perform against Duke, especially in Cameron. Like this wasn't just like in JPJ. This was in Cameron, and Duke just dominated. And Duke is the best. Like Duke is not just an elite team. They're the team that's playing the best in the country right now. And I hate to say it, and if TJ's listening, he'll get excited. Like if I had to pick a national champion right now, I'm probably picking the Duke Blue Devils. Like if you're a Virginia fan, you want to feel a little bit better. You did just as well as Michigan did against them. I mean, Michigan scored only 63. So, I think if you're Virginia, you move on. You're going to if you win the next 2 games, you're going to be the 2 seed, and you have Wake Forest and Virginia Tech, and we're going to get to Virginia Tech in a second. You're winning both those games, so you're probably going to be the 2 seed in the ACC tournament, and you're just going to and if Carolina's the 4, well, good news. You get a Duke, Carolina, maybe North Carolina can take out Duke because that's the only team that's beaten Duke in ACC play. And it's because it's North Carolina. And it's not because of North Carolina's good or bad. It's because it's the rivalry. And it was in the Dean Dome. So, speaking of North Carolina, 89-82, they defeat Virginia Tech in what was a fun game. I will say for Virginia Tech, you want to feel good. Neo Dallas is playing really well. He had 19 points in this game and 5 assists. Jalen Bedford I don't want to say came back to earth in this game, had 7. Monty Hansberry did foul out with 11. Toby Lawal was the highlight of the game. The windmill dunk, the lob. He was making some big plays in that game. Tyler Johnson comes back. He only plays 2 minutes. I would have liked to see more minutes from him. If you ask Virginia Tech, they shoot 50% from the field, 39% from 3. You would take it, but defensively they just were not good enough. Carolina shoots 56% from the field, 40% from 3. Henry Vessar has 26. I don't think this was necessarily a bad performance, Ty, because again, I think they cover the spread The spread was 7.5, and they cover it barely. They win by 7, and it was tied at the half. It just felt like they had bad offense, bad shots in the second half, bad turnovers in the second half, and it was a game they let slip through their fingertips that they easily could have won. It's kind of the story of their season. They had bad execution in moments, and especially in the second half of this game, they kind of just let it slip away where they played really well for the first half. It was 44-44 at half. It was a really good game. It was a really fun game for both sides. I think both teams played well. Like you saw kind of how good Virginia Tech can be. But again, kind of the story of their season, Ty. They let an important win slip through their fingers.
I mean, it's been like this whole season. It's just
Yeah.
nothing did not change. It's always be like bad offense, too many turnovers. There was a game right there they should have won. It's just the same results we begin for like the beginning of what December, January. They just hasn't nothing did not change at all. So it's nothing new about this.
Yeah, I wonder. I guess, obviously Tyler Johnson missed so much time, but you'd feel like more than 2 minutes would be maybe he started and he didn't feel it, which I get for not playing for. I mean, as someone who's clearly the athlete of us two, I would get it. No, but you've come back from injury before. Like, how hard is it when your first game back to play?
Well, I got hurt one time during spring, but
Okay,
I never got. But
you've never been hurt in the season.
Yeah, but I mean, it takes time for real. Like,
but you know enough.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it takes time. You gotta get your own body in shape, the chemistry. It's just a lot going forward to it, and especially game shape ready as well. Because it's not just like that. It takes a while to get your body back in game shape.
Yeah, absolutely. So 89-82, Hokies are probably gonna play. I mean, they're gonna be the 11 seed. It looks like in the ACC tournament. So we'll shake that out as time goes on. But again, I just think for Virginia Tech, or excuse me, for Virginia Tech, it's just another instance of the game slipping away. But I do think if they want to have an outside shot of making a run in the ACC tournament, and kind of because they're going to have to do, I'm going to have to come. I'm gonna have to I think they're gonna have to do real damage in the ACC tournament to make the tournament. You need Neo Dallas to play like an all ACC guard, and boy oh boy, he's playing like that right now. That is like the bright spot. Now, is it too little, too late? Possibly, because he had 19 points. He was he had 19 points, and he was efficient. He showed his great passing ability. So I guess the positive sign is if Dallas has life again and is getting his swagger back. I mean, he hit a couple of those James Harden step back threes in this game, and he looked really good. I if you want to talk positive things about Virginia Tech, Dallas looked really good in this game.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like he's still gaining. I feel like he's still, getting experience. Now he's understanding the game, especially coming from overseas to here, especially in Colorado.
By the way, Ed Texton, he's also come back from far too many injuries, and it takes a moment to get in game shape. Which is the typical thing. So do you want to shout out Ed Lane, the fastest long distance runner in the Lynchburg area, according to him. I hope he listens to that and just knows that anytime you see Ed running, just know he is the fastest man in Lynchburg. All right. Anyways, other fun game that happened on Sunday here on the Virginia Talk Radio Network on VTR and Sports, powered by ESPN Radio, was the Commonwealth Clash between Virginia Tech and Virginia on the women's side, and it was a fun basketball game, Ty. Hokies go up by 23 at one point in this game, but Virginia storms back to make it a game. They went up 82-81 at one point in this game. Kamora Johnson had 26 points in this one. She was awesome in this one, but also it was a battle of, as all ACC guards, as our guy Evan Hughes said on the broadcast. Carly Winsel had 29 to cap that, as Hokies win 83-82 in a stretch in which after Virginia goes up late with as I try to pull up the play-by-play in the fourth quarter on ESPN.com as I go to it here. This is great radio, folks. They go up with 5 seconds left. Hokies, or excuse me, 16 seconds left. Then they have a clock error that goes to 5 seconds left. Hokies have to run a play, and Carly Winsell is able to draw the foul and go up with one. I think it was like 1.6 seconds left. UVA calls a timeout, and it leads to this score 83-82. Evan Hughes on the call. The great Evan Hughes on the call. Hokies now become the 6th seed in the ACC women's tournament. They will take on the winner of Georgia Tech and Florida State on Thursday, 7 o'clock airtime on the 7 o'clock airtime because they are the last game of that day. And as someone who's been to the ACC tournament, that could be between 7. I guess those still will go on the air at 7. I'll text Evan to confirm. But between 7 and 7:30-ish, 7:30-ish is when the game will start. Let's just put it that way. And then their path to the ACC, then if they win that game, they would take on North Carolina, who they played earlier this season, to a game in overtime. But the 6th seed in the ACC tournament, Duke the 1, Carolina the 3, Louisville the 2, NC State the 4. Virginia, by the way, is the 8th seed, and they will begin their ACC tournament on the women's side against Clemson, 11 a.m. airtime on the ACC network on Thursday. So that is your women's college basketball update for you. By the way, Liberty women got a win on Saturday as well. If they're trying, they have a Jamie Hall, who is the play-by-play for the women's broadcast for Liberty women's basketball, could do the hoops of math for them to get 2 seed in the Conference USA tournament. They play their final game on Friday. But the Lady Flames, importantly, will get a single bye at least, as they've clinched the number 1 or the top 6 seed in Conference USA, and they got a big win. They got a big couple of wins these past couple of games. One against Middle Tennessee, and then against Western Kentucky on Saturday. Did the Lady Flames as Avery Mills, who has been out, came back against on a minutes restriction against Middle Tennessee, and then came back in the starting lineup, had 17 points in their 60-54 win over Western Kentucky. So the leading scorer for the Lady Flames is back and appears to be healthy. She was so that's a big addition. As Liberty went 7-2 in February on the women's side, and La Tech will be the favorite in the Conference USA women's tournament. They're the clear number 1 seed, but if the Flames keep playing good basketball like they have a real shot of making some noise in the Conference USA tournament. So, Ty, it's that time of year, man. Conference tournament time. So I do love this time of year. I love conference tournaments. I love the fact that we'll have college basketball on from both men's and women's from noon to midnight. Of course, you're home for plenty of games we'll have these next couple of weeks right here on VTR and Sports, powered by ESPN Radio. All right. Other news and notes from the weekend. History happened at COTA. Tyler Reddick drives away on the final laps from SVG to win the NASCAR Cup Series at COTA. He's the first ever driver to win 3 in a row, and of course there were a lot of Jordan memes put out because Michael Jordan was in victory lane 2. Michael Jordan heading to Phoenix. Can Reddick pull off the 4-peat? But 23-11 has come to play this season. Reddick led the most laps in this race, goes on to win the race. This was, of course, the first race he won with 23-11, which was at Coda. And dominant effort, or back when he first joined, by the way. This is so his second win at Coda with 23-11. And you have to give Tyler Reddick a lot of credit. This dominant effort by the team. And it's really good. Jordan with a great quote. He was asked how he gets it done. He's like, Denny does a great job putting this team together and finding the right people and finding Tyler. He's like, I just put the money up. I thought that was a great line. But what a moment. And you can tell it's really interesting. And Denny brought this up, I think, with the Daytona 500, like 23-11's like he thinks a unique part about 23-11 is they can fill the competitive juice for Michael Jordan, which is like insane to think about because it's Michael Jordan and he's competitive in everything. I mean, this is a guy who's a habitual gambler and will gamble on everything from cards to golf. And I mean that in terms of like he just wants to win and have something on the line. I'm not calling like there are other conspiracies about his gambling thing that you can maybe why you played baseball. Just if you don't know, now you know. But my point being, this is it is very fascinating to see. And guess who, Ty? Guess what team has the top 2 points, positions in points in the NASCAR Cup Series?
Right now?
Yeah.
Really?
Correct. This Bubba Wallace he didn't have a great day at Coda, but he had a decent. He did what he did kind of back when road course racing wasn't as important. What you needed to do, have a solid day. He finishes in the top 15. Ty Gibbs has a good finish. I do want to mention that, Ed, after a rough week for your boy. But Reddick now holds a 70-point lead because of winning the first 3 races. But Reddick, Wallace, Elliott, your top 3 in points as they head to Phoenix this weekend. NBA scores from Sunday. Knicks 114, Spurs 89. Cavs defeat the Nets 106-102. Is Harden return for the Cavs. Bulls defeat the Bucks 120-97. T-Wolves over the Nuggets 117-108. 125-106. The Grizzlies defeat the Pacers. Get all board the tanking train with the Indiana Pacers. Hawks 135, Trailblazers 101, Pistons 106, Magic 92, Celtics defeat the Sixers 114-98, Thunder over the Mavericks 187, Clippers defeat the Pelicans 137-117, and the Lakers defeat the Kings 128-104. The Kings have 14 wins on the season. Just want to point that out.
Don't surprise me at all.
They're the Kings. I mean, the beam is dead.
They're not just a glory days to.
I mean, underrated worst run franchise of the like the Kings might actually be the Jets of the NBA, where they're like very poor, but like no one knows about them because they're the Kings, but they're very poorly run.
Yeah.
Like
unless somebody come in and take over that franchise, but I highly doubt it.
I mean, Vivek, shout to Vivek. If he's the owner, by the way, for people who don't know about ownership at the NBA level. Anyways, anything else I missed from the weekend, Ty?
No, you didn't.
Combine happened. I don't know if there's much to take away from it. I do want to shout Myatt Snyder. So Myatt Snyder, and if you missed it, and by the way, I can say this, I feel okay. Alex Bowman left the race with about 20-ish laps to go, 25-ish laps to go, and because he was not feeling well. It was hot. His cool suit wasn't working, so he basically was dehydrated. A.J. Allmendinger passed out after the race, and they had to give him medical attention, and that was after her top 10 finish. So Myatt Snyder, son of famous pit reporter Marty Snyder, he's done a couple of starts. He used to be full-time in the O'Reilly series with Richard Childress Racing, won a race at Homestead. He does a lot of road course racing now on a part-time schedule in the O'Reilly series. But he also pit spots, meaning like if you're watching a race, your pit reporter, so Jamie Little, he helps her identify like if this team is having an issue or whatever. Like you have a spotter on a broadcast. Well, Hendrick Motorsports needs a driver because they're going to put a replacement driver in, and they ask. Luckily, Myatt Snyder had his helmet and his race suit with him, and the dude who is pit spotting comes in and runs the last like 15 laps for Hendrick Motorsports, which is kind of insane. Sicko's committee on Twitter with a great tweet. Imagine Alabama's QB goes down and the Tide brings a former D2 quarterback who's working as a PA for the ESPN broadcast. That's basically what happened to Hendrick Motorsports today. Like, honestly, it'd be like, yeah, that's kind of it. It's just insane to watch. Great Twitter tweet by Brad Perez, who had to do the same thing the day before in the O'Reilly series. He gets a text from Myatt Snyder asking him where the breaking point is off the S's at Coda. Like, and Brad is confused by it, and he tweets out the exchange and then tweets the photo of Myatt getting into the 48. And for Myatt, he ran decent lap times considering he'd never been in an next-gen car and he never raced at Coda. So shout out to Myatt Snyder because that's a pretty cool thing to do. Just because you that was just insane. By the way, I have one more stat on the Virginia Tech loss. This is from friend of the show, Sam Jesse. Virginia Tech has 9 ACC losses, Ty. They have led or were tied in the second half in 6 of them.
I mean, that tells you right there.
Yeah, so that's to go back to the Virginia Tech game. That's that. Also, moment of the weekend. Coach Cal almost got in another fight with a coach as during the Florida-Arkansas game where Florida just dominated Arkansas on Saturday, which we can get to the top 25 scores in college basketball. That's one thing I actually missed. Todd Golden and Calipari were going at it. Famously, John Cheney told Coach Cal when he was at UMass how he wanted to kill him, if you don't remember. So, in case you missed it, there. Top 25 scores, by the way, for the weekend. Number 2, Arizona defeats Kansas 84-61. Like, this was the weekend of teams you think could win the national championship, just dominate ranked teams. Texas Tech defeats Arizona 82-73. Texas Tech is playing – we have dismissed Texas Tech for a lot of reasons. Because of the JT Toppin injury. I've said this on here. They're just playing good basketball. Houston dominates Colorado 102-62. UConn escapes against Seton 71-67 on Alex Caravan night if he gets honored. Florida defeats Arkansas 111-77. St. Mary's upsets Gonzaga 70-59. Nebraska defeats USC 82-67 in a game in which the USC player who's playing his 7th year or 6th year of college basketball, Chad Baker Mazzara, who used to be in Auburn, just left during the game, and that was left the USC program. St. John's 89, Villanova 57. Alabama defeats Tennessee 71-69. West Virginia upsets number 19 BYU 79-71. St. Louis defeats Duquesne 91-76. Clemson upsets number 24 Louisville 80-75. Kentucky defeats number 25 Vandy 91-77. Of course, Ty, I had to check. This game, close game on Friday. This game was on Friday. Miami 69. Western Michigan 67. We are 2 games away from a perfect regular season. And then we got a MAC tournament to worry about. For the for America's team, folks. The Miami Redhawks of Ohio. Okay? That is America's team. And Bruce Pearl saying, I think if Miami of Ohio doesn't win their conference tournament, they shouldn't be in. If they go undefeated, if they go 31-0 in the regular season and lose, I don't care if they lose in the first round or what their first game in the MAC tournament, they should make the NCAA tournament. I do not. You win 31 games, and obviously Bruce Pearl, whose son is the head coach of Auburn, who he just handed the job to, and Auburn's on the bubble. That might be why he doesn't want MAC doesn't want Miami in the tournament. You know what, Bruce Pearl? America's team is I'm telling you, I know the NCAA college basketball committee is listening. If Miami wins their next 2 games and they go 31-0. If you're in a top 15 conference in men's college basketball, which the MAC is a top 15 conference in men, like Akron's a really good team. Like, you know who has the 3 longest home winning streaks in college basketball? Akron. Yep. Shout out to Storm Durham. Akron, Miami of Ohio, and Duke. I think it's the longest home winning streaks. And they're like 29 games. Like, it's an insane amount.
I mean, I will hope
if they go 31-0.
Like, there's no way they shouldn't get in the tournament. Like, come on now. They go get in the tournament. Hey,
I just want to point out, do you know who the national champion football, do you know who they opened their season against?
Who?
Old Dominion. Do you know who Miami opened their season against?
Who?
Old Dominion. Wow. I'm telling you right now, Miami, Ohio is winning the national championship. Book it. When we come back, today in sports history, Ty Tracy. Probably going to get them all right, but I'm going to try to stump them next on the morning warm-up.
Tyler Chevrolet is now Apple Chevrolet. All the names changed, we're still the same trusted dealer team. Same management, same knowledgeable parts and service, same tech, same professional sales staff. With over 200 years of collective experience, we'll continue growing stronger alongside our community. From the newest Chevrolets to top quality pre-owned vehicles, Apple Chevrolet delivers the same unmatched customer service. Visit us at driveapple.com. Apple Chevrolet of Alta Vista, powered by the community we serve.
Hi, I'm Susan Lane, Ed's mom. March Madness brings lots of picks, but I have only one, Bartlett Tree Experts. I rely on Bartlett to professionally assess my oaks and boxwoods and to prepare a maintenance plan within my budget. Call Corey, a certified arborist at Bartlett Tree Experts, or go to bartlett.com.
Few things are more majestic than nature, as long as it's outside your house. Unfortunately, when wildlife gets inside your chimney, it leads to problems for your chimney and your house. Prevent this problem with Black Goose Chimney Service. They provide one-time solutions to ensure the wildlife stays outside your home. And if you've had wildlife inside your house, Black Goose Chimney Service can deal with the aftermath and make sure they don't return. Call Black Goose Chimney Service and visit them at blackgoose.net.
What do high-performing athletes have in common? They don't just train their bodies, they train their minds. The best competitors have a strong mental support system that keeps them focused, confident, and at the top of their game. Want that same support in your own life? Central Virginia Counseling can help. No matter what life throws your way, our team is here for you, with 2 Lynchburg locations on Wigington Road and Timberlake Road, and telehealth available anywhere in Virginia. Take the first step today. Visit centralvirginiacounseling.com.
Good morning. We are just getting your day started here on BTRN Sports with morning warm-up. Stay connected at Trey, Lyle, BT, and Ty Tracy 90 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Listen wherever you are with the BTRN Sports app, or watch the show live on YouTube at youtube.com/BTRN Sports Lynchburg. Now, back to the morning warm-up.
7:32 on this Monday, March 2nd. It's actually 7:37 a.m. I minus 5 minutes on this Monday, March 2nd. Welcome to the morning warm-up. By the way, warmer temperatures this weekend meant that our frozen stale is starting to melt, as today is the final day at insaneradiodeals.com to get 32% off the list price. All you need to do is enter promo code Frozen at checkout at insaneradiodeals.com. Today, the final day. Get a great gift card to Buttercup and Friends, Oliver's on Rivermont, great restaurant there, Caribbean Jerk Pot, Rise Up Climbing, The Yard on 5th Street, Ballad Brewing, 801 Raw Bar, Downtown Cairo, BNC Sports, and much more. Head to insaneradiodeals.com right now, 32% off. All you need to do is hit that promo code Frozen at checkout. Normal restrictions apply. All right, Ty. Today in sports history, you're really good at this. We didn't go on Friday, but don't worry. I'm not going to do 4 days worth of today in sports history, just 2. Just the first 2 days of March. Here we go. All right, Ty. On this date in 1955, this iconic college basketball home arena hosts its first college basketball game as this team defeats its rival Kansas State 77-66. So your hint is their rival is Kansas State.
Oh, the Kansas Jayhawks.
Yes, but where do they play? You have to name the arena.
Is it Allen Firehouse?
Well, it's not a firehouse.
Oh,
It's a field house.
Fieldhouse. My bad. Allen Fieldhouse.
You know what? I'll be nice and give it to you today.
It's-
But no, there's not fire trucks that come out of
my
it.
bad.
You're good. You're good. All right. That was on March 1st, by the way.
Yeah.
On March 1st, in the year of our Lord, 2014, this man becomes the seventh player to score 200 or 700. I cannot read today. 700 NHL goals during the New Jersey Devils' 6-1 victory over the New York Islanders. Jaromir Jagr.
Jaromir Jagr.
Yes, famous Pittsburgh Penguin. All right, you're 1-1 heading into March 2nd. All right, on this date, March 2nd, in 1940, this horse wins the Santa Ana Handicap in his final race. Beaten by a nose in both the 1937 and 1938 Santa Ana Handicaps, this horse beats Kayak 2 by 1.5 lengths to retire as the leading money-winning horse in the world. There is a movie about him.
It is, but I just can't remember the name. It was like, God, it's like Seabiscuit. Something.
That's it. It's Seabiscuit. Yep, that's why I did this. All right. On this date in 1962, Wilt Chamberlain, allegedly, scores an NBA record 100 points to lead the Philadelphia Warriors to a 169-147 win over this team.
You still need to see the proof of it.
Allegedly.
I
Yeah.
guess
I
I
mean,
need
we need, yes, it was the Knicks. There's no videos. I'm just
You
saying.
still,
No, it's just one of my.
You need the proof. That's what you. Like, I need to see proof.
I mean,
There's
it's
no
just
way.
my favorite. It's like one of my favorite basketball conspiracy theories. Like that, some people actually think.
Why would somebody come out and say that's not true? Like, what would you say about that?
I mean, there's a lot of numbers that Wilt Chamberlain allegedly has said that he might have inflated. So maybe he inflated the fact he scored 100 points in a game. And you can Google the numbers I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They're nothing to do with basketball. All right. We're still on this date, March 2nd. In 2011, this school overcomes a slow start to clinch at least a share of the Big East regular season championship with a 66-50 win over South Florida. Their head coach, Jamie Dixon, sets an NCAA Division I record for most victories in the first 8 seasons of a career with 214. By the way, Jamie Dixon, now the head coach of TCU, not Pitt. I almost said the name school, so you might get it.
Well, I knew it was Pittsburgh anyway.
Yes, it was Pittsburgh.
Because that's when the Big East was jumping. But
That was the year that Big East had was it all 4 number 1 seeds in 2000? It was something crazy.
yeah,
It wasn't all 4 number 1 seeds. It was, by the way, that was the year VCU made it to the Final Four. It was something, no, because Ohio State was the 1. It was one year the Big East had like 2 number 1s. It was something crazy like that. But yeah, there you go, Ty. 3, nice job. 3, 97, and 24. You're going to go for your 100th win tomorrow. All right, we're going to start looking ahead to the week. Next here on the morning warm-up, obviously Ty did a great job there. No notes, Ty. Good job. I'm proud of you. But time to look at what the week ahead as we discuss. This is the morning warm-up on Veteran Sports.
Mark Dalton, Terry Holt. Get ready to fall head over heels for the perfect VW SUV. One size doesn't fit all, though, and that's why Volkswagen has the SUV for everyone. From the compact and affordable Volkswagen Taos to the Tech Pack Tiguan and the spacious Volkswagen Atlas. No matter which one fits your lifestyle, you'll love the comfort,
performance and safety. Stop by Terry Volkswagen on Forest Road in Lynchburg or check us out online at terryvw.com. Terry Volkswagen. You'll love our cars.
Lunchtime, just got an upgrade. Stop by Pockadoo for $8.95 weekly special and grab a legendary sandwich at an unbeatable price. Choose your favorite classics, including Island, Betty Bop, Ragtime, or Stogie. Classic sandwiches packed with savory meats and flavors in between with bread. Make it a meal by pairing your sandwich with a sidekick, a warm cup of soup, or crispy chips. Great food, cozy vibes, and the best deal in town.
That's what I hate. It's cold where I have to wear long. That's why I wear golf pants. So hot. That I feel like I need shorts.
I'm Susan Lane, Ed's mom. March Madness brings lots of picks, but I have a Bartlett Tree Experts. I rely on Bartlett to professionally assess my oaks and boxwoods and to prepare a maintenance plan within my budget. Call Corey, a certified arborist at Bartlett Tree Experts, or go to bartlett.com.
Playing ball versus the agony of a broken windshield or window, contact Apple Auto Glass. Your local auto glass repair shop on 80 Avenue in Lynchburg. Apple Auto Glass provide a professional assessment with the honesty of your neighbors, so you can get back to during the great moments this season.
Good morning. We are just getting your day started here on ETRN Sports with the morning warm-up. Stay connected with the show at Trey, Lyle, BT, and Ty Tracy 90 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Listen wherever you are with the ETRN Sports app, or watch the show live on YouTube. That's ETRN Sports Lynchburg. Now, back to the morning warm-up.
7:46 on this Monday, March 2nd. Welcome back to the morning warm-up. Interesting note, Chiefs have informed Jawan Taylor that he will be released before the start of the league year. Sources tell ESPN's Adam Schefter. Taylor's release will save the Chiefs $20 million under the cap. Interesting name from maybe the Commanders, who I think need complete offensive line help. You think Tunsil and Simmons are your two starters at tackle, but Taylor, who you probably can get for a decent cheap there as well. So we'll keep that name. Maybe he'll go somewhere where he has a chance to start.
I was about to say, the new year supposed to start sometime this week or next week?
The new league year?
Yeah.
I seriously have no idea. NFL new league year.
It's
I
like
think
after, it's like
March 11th.
Okay, I was about to say it's like after the combine. For sure.
So that means tampering starts March 9th, a week from today.
Okay.
So we'll have Lake on tomorrow to talk about that.
Okay.
Then we get to have some fun. So, but yeah, that's a week from now. Of course, we also will have throughout college basketball a lot to talk about. It's a fun time. You know, February is always hard a little bit. But ultimately, February, you know, when the end of football, and then you kind of have like that 2-week period before the grind of NCAA tournament time, which we're at now, and then we'll have obviously playoff. We'll have baseball kick back up, which we're about to talk, and then we'll have my mind's blanking, the NCAA tournament. Speaking of baseball, I do want to mention Friday, the Americans kick off the World Baseball Classic. Team USA, headlined by Captain, my captain, Captain America. I can call him that. He's the captain of the Yankees, captains of America's team. Literally, Aaron Judge, Bryce Harper, Cal Raleigh is going to be on that team. Paul Skeens, Tarek Skubal. Like, Team USA in the World Baseball Classic is going to – and then, of course, Shohei Ohtani will be playing for Japan. So all I have to say is, again, I'm going to sing the same speech I gave about the hockey tournament. And Ty, was I right?
Yeah.
If you're not a full-fledged fan of baseball, maybe you want to get into baseball, all I have to say is watch the World Baseball Classic, and then you get a mini taste of what playoff baseball is like, the intensity. Because the great part about playoff baseball and the World Baseball Classic is you get the American pride, Team USA. But like what the unique part about baseball where like it hurts during the regular season, where like, by the way, baseball has kind of fixed that with a pitch clock where you would think the games would go so slow. It builds so much drama in those big moments in playoff baseball. And by the way, of course, baseball in the Hill City coming, Hill City Howlers, going to play baseball in a couple of weeks. Shout out to our guy, Jason Prill, the voice of the Howlers. I have to get used to that. Didn't get $1 in the jar there. So that's coming up this week. Virginia Tech Virginia ends the week. Virginia Tech plays Mike Young's arch nemesis, Boston College. And in the most funny thing possible, Virginia Tech losing to Boston College would be the funniest thing possible. As the ACC tournament kicks off on the women's side, both Virginia Tech and Virginia looking to make noise. I'm going to double check, but I believe as I look at the latest bracketology from Charlie Cream, I know Virginia, let's see here. Virginia Tech is at the last 4 byes. So is the Cavaliers. Both firmly in the NCAA tournament as of right now. I think a win in the ACC tournament helps them. So it appears both the Hokies and the Cavaliers on the women's side will be making the NCAA tournament, knock on wood. But of course, you could have a bid thief, and that could push them down the bubble there as well. So keep that in mind. Do want to update you on that. Now, going back to Virginia playing for a top 4 seed in the NCAA tournament. Do I think the loss to Duke hurts them? I do not. Because, again, you lost the number 1 overall seed. Virginia, still according to Joe Lunardi, is a 4 seed in the Midwest, where they currently would take on High Point in a very fun 4-13 matchup. Because High Point's a very fun team to watch, who likes to shoot the you-know-what out of the ball. So just want to point that out. As according to Lunardi's projection as of right now. Ty, anything else you looking forward towards this week?
The end of regular season for basketball is coming soon. Saturday.
College basketball.
Excuse me.
We got about a couple more months for the other one.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
You're good. We got about a month for the late April, May.
Yeah. So college basketball is about to end this weekend. Then we got conference tournament the week after next week. So I'm excited about this March. You got a little March.
This is March. We'll sleep in May, in the words of John Rothstein. We do have a breaking NFL trade. Texans and Browns have agreed to terms on a trade to send starting right tackle Titus Howard to Cleveland in exchange for a 5th-round pick. He also gets a 3-year, $63 million extension. Of course, the Browns would trade for an offensive tackle on maybe the worst offensive line in football, and then extend him. Now, this guy could be good, but I'm just pointing out that I think a real reason why we saw the regression of C.J. Stroud this past season was offensive line play.
Mm-hmm.
So would I trade for a Houston offensive lineman? No. Kind of like I wouldn't trade for anyone actually, I would sign Wyatt Teller, who's a free agent on the Browns. So, but would I trade for – yeah. I wouldn't trade for a jet defensive back. Well, they traded for Sauce, but like by the end of the season, the current defensive backs on the Jets who got no interceptions was the first team ever. So again, my point being, it's the Browns doing Browns things. But yeah, so we have a breaking NFL trade, and we got lawsuits going in NASCAR. Lots going on. Of course, Fastlane on later today, 5:00 airtime. Ed Lane, who said I can't really call him the fastest man in Lynchburg. He said one of, but you know what? I'm his hype man, so I'm going to say he is the fastest. And if anyone on the Liberty or University of Lynchburg cross country team is listening, he has challenged you to a race, which we will air live right here on the morning warm up. So if you accept, please add Trey Lyle VT, Ed Lane, which I think the car line is over, so he might not be listening to this yet, and he's going to pick it back up on the morning warm up wherever you get your podcast. Mm-hmm. So Ed, unless you respond in the next 5 seconds, you have accepted this. 5, 4, 3, 2. We're good. All right, congrats. So Ed has laid the challenge out. and we're ready to go. Now we're going to root for our guy here, Ty. We got him.
Yeah.
So, anyways, looking ahead to the week, I think the focus goes to Liberty. It's going to be interesting to see how Liberty handles this week with essentially everything locked up. How now you've knock on wood have not had the injury bug on your team, but you have played a full season, and I wouldn't be shocked. I think if they still had a path to an at-large, they would treat it differently. But it's going to be interesting to see how he handles it, because I don't think you need to go out the ultra not play your guys, because I think that gets them out of rhythm. But do you not play them? Do you play them in the first half? Do you play Zach Cleveland averages 33 minutes a game this season. Okay. Let me correct that. He averages 34 and a half minutes per game this season. Do you play him 28, 25 minutes in these first two games, in these games to wrap up the regular season, where you kind of play it smart, and you just think hey, we're gonna not treat this like a bye week, but we're gonna treat this as a rest up week. And I'm very fascinated to see how Richie McKay would handle it, Ty.
I mean, yes, I have no doubt though, because he's been really spectacular this whole season, him and the Flames. So I have no doubt in my mind. I think he continues to get them better, and they still prove every single game.
Yeah, they're really good. They're very much an old school team. We're the core of this team. They've added in the portal, whether it was obviously Brett Decker coming in this year, his year 2 at Liberty. But the core of this team being those three guys, Porter, Matheny, and Cleveland. We just don't see that anymore in college basketball, where three guys have stayed together for 4 years, and have essentially just grown with the team. JJ Harper is a transfer and has been added to their lineup, but you look at this team, the core of this team, Cleveland, Porter, Matheny, are 4-year guys, all 4 at Liberty, know the system, and it works well with the guys you've added. And you give a lot of credit to Richie McKay, who's a really good basketball coach and has built a really good team. And I think Liberty is going to be a very unique matchup in the NCAA tournament, because they play a unique style, and they can shoot the ball well. They have a big in Cleveland that is very flexible, and they have really good guards. And what wins in March is guards. The reason Duke, we talked about Duke, Florida, Michigan, Arizona, all being national champion contenders. They have really good guards. Obviously Cameron Booster's the headline for Duke, but Duke's guards, especially defensively, are really good. And that's what gave Virginia troubles in that game, and so on and so forth. So I think Liberty, it's going to be interesting to see how they attack these two games. Again, and I'm not here to say they should just outright tank them, because that's just not a winning mindset. I just am interested to see there are creative ways where you still try to play for the win, but you still give your guys they only play them 28 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That 5-minute difference, 6-minute difference could be huge in a week's time, where you're playing a conference championship game and maybe you have to roll out Zach Cleveland for 40 minutes. So that is kind of the idea behind it. But we'll find out. So plenty of talk about this week. Obviously, football is going to be another topic. We will talk with Lake Lewis. He had a whole week at the Combine, so we're going to talk to him about some takeaways he had from their performances. I do want to talk about – I'm going to go on a limb and say it's his favorite player in the draft. It might be my favorite player in the draft, and that's Jeremiah Love. In his performance, Sonny Styles looked incredible. We're going to talk about him as well. So a couple intriguing names that we'll talk about for what we'll watch and look at and what his overall thoughts about it. That's tomorrow on the morning warm-ups. Thanks so much to Ty. Thanks so much for you listening. And remember, if you want to race Ed Lane, let me know at Trey Lyle VT. Bye, everybody.